Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The people of France. Of or pertaining to France are the people of France. United States sculptor who created the seated marble figure of Abraham Lincoln in the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., 1850 to 1931. Cut, e.g., beans, lengthwise in preparation for cooking. The Romance language spoken in France and in countries colonized by France. The people of France. Of or pertaining to France are the people of France. Of or pertaining to Gaul or the Gauls. United States sculptor who created the seated marble figure of Abraham Lincoln in the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., 1850 to 1931. French writer of sophisticated novels and short stories, 1844 to 1924. A republic in Western Europe, the largest country wholly in Europe. The territory occupied by a nation. A politically organized body of people under a single government. The country's largest manufacturer. A particular geographical region of indefinite boundary, usually serving some special purpose or distinguished by its people or culture or geography. Bible country. The people who live in a nation or country. The whole country worshipped him. An area outside of cities and towns. His poetry celebrated the slower pace of life in the country. A politically organized body of people under a single government. African nations. The people who live in a nation or country. A statement that sums up the nation's mood. United States prohibitionist who raided saloons and destroyed bottles of liquor with a hatchet, 1846 to 1911. A federation of tribes, especially Native American tribes. The Shawnee Nation. Material in the top layer of the surface of the earth in which plants can grow, especially with reference to its quality or use. The land had never been plowed. The territory occupied by a nation. He returned to the land of his birth. A politically organized body of people under a single government. An industrialized land. United States inventor who incorporated Polaroid film into lenses and invented the one-step photographic process, 1909 to 1991. Extensive landed property, especially in the country, retained by the owner for his own use. The family owned a large estate on Long Island. Reach or come to rest. The bird landed on the highest branch. Bring into a different state. This may land you in jail. The people who live in a nation or country. Arrive on shore. The ship landed in Pearl Harbor. Cause to come to the ground. The pilot managed to land the airplane safely. Agriculture considered as an occupation or way of life. There's no work on the land anymore. The solid part of the Earth's surface. The plane turned away from the sea and moved back over land. Shoot at and force to come down. The enemy landed several of our aircraft. Territory over which rule or control is exercised. He made it the law of the land. A domain in which something is dominant. A land of make-believe. Bring ashore. The drug smugglers landed the heroin on the beach of the island. Deliver a blow. He landed several blows on his opponent's head. The land on which real estate is located. He built the house on land leased from the city. The omission that is made when an editorial change shortens a written passage. Weed out unwanted or unnecessary things. We had to lose weight, so we cut the sugar from our diet. Cut down on. Make a reduction in. The employer wants to cut back health benefits. The act of penetrating or opening open with a sharp edge. His cut in the lining revealed the hidden jewels. Made neat and tidy by trimming. In baseball, a batter's attempt to hit a pitched ball. He took a vicious cut at the ball. Used of rates or prices, reduced usually sharply. Lessen the strength or flavor of a solution or mixture. Cut bourbon. Cut and assemble the components of. Cut recording tape. Used of grass or vegetation, cut down with a hand implement or machine. Reduce in scope while retaining essential elements. The act of cutting something into parts. His cuts were skillful. Refuse to acknowledge. She cut him dead at the meeting. Turn sharply. Change direction abruptly. The car cut to the left at the intersection. Be able to manage or manage successfully. She could not cut the long days in the office. Mixed with water. Sold cut whiskey. A refusal to recognize someone you know. The act of shortening something by chopping off the ends. The barber gave him a good cut. Sports. A stroke that puts reverse spin on the ball. Cuts do not bother a good tennis player. Style and tailor in a certain fashion. Cut a dress. With parts removed. The drastically cut film. A wound made by cutting. He put a bandage over the cut. Create by duplicating data. Cut a disk. Cease, stop. Cut the noise. Cut off the testicles of male animals such as horses. A piece of meat that has been cut from an animal carcass. Make out an issue. Cut a ticket. A trench resembling a furrow that was made by erosion or excavation. A remark capable of wounding mentally. The unkindest cut of all. Intentionally fail to attend. Cut class. A distinct selection of music from a recording or a compact disc. He played the first cut on the CD. The division of a deck of cards before dealing. He insisted that we give him the last cut before every deal. Of a male animal, having the testicles removed. A cut horse. Cuss to stop operating by disengaging a switch. Cut the engine. A canal made by erosion or excavation. Allow incision or separation. This bread cuts easily. An unexcused absence from class. He was punished for taking too many cuts in his math class. A share of the profits. Everyone got a cut of the earnings. A step on some scale. He is a cut above the rest. Discharge from a group. The coach cut 2 players from the team. Dissolve by breaking down the fat of. Soap cuts grease. Divide a deck of cards at random into 2 parts to make selection difficult. Wane cut. Fashioned or shaped by cutting. A well-cut suit. Fell by sawing. Hew. The Vietnamese cut a lot of timber while they occupied Cambodia. Film. An immediate transition from one shot to the next. The cut from the accident scene to the hospital seemed too abrupt. Form by probing, penetrating, or digging. Cut a hole. Form or shape by cutting or incising. Cut paper dolls. Function as a cutting instrument. This knife cuts well. Give the appearance or impression of. Cut a nice figure. Grow through the gums. The new tooth is cutting. Have a reducing effect. This cuts into my earnings. Have grow through the gums. The baby cut a tooth. Hit a ball with a spin so that it turns in the opposite direction. Cut a ping pong ball. Make an abrupt change of image or sound. Cut from one scene to another. Make an incision or separation. Cut along the dotted line. Make a recording of. Cut the songs. Move one's fist. His opponent cut upward toward his chin. Pass directly and often in haste. We cut through the neighbor's yard to get home sooner. Pass through or across. The boat cut the water. Penetrate injuriously. The glass from the shattered windshield cut into her forehead. Perform or carry out. Cut a caper. Reap or harvest. Cut grain. Record a performance on a medium. Cut a record. Separated into parts or laid open or penetrated with a sharp edge or instrument. The cut surface was modeled. Separate with or as if with an instrument. Shorten as if by severing the edges or ends of. Cut my hair. Stop filming. Cut a movie scene. The act of reducing the amount or number. The mayor proposed extensive cuts in the city budget. The style in which a garment is cut. A dress of traditional cut. Of pages of a book, having the folds of the leaves trimmed or slit. The cut pages of the book. The group of languages derived from Latin. Talk or behave amorously, without serious intentions. A story dealing with love. An exciting and mysterious quality, as of a heroic time or adventure. A relationship between two lovers. Make amorous advances towards. Relating to languages derived from Latin. The group of languages derived from Latin. A novel dealing with idealized events remote from everyday life. Have a love affair with. Tell romantic or exaggerated lies. This author romanced his trip to an exotic country. The group of languages derived from Latin. The French, Norman, language used in medieval England. The medieval Norman dialect of Old French. The medieval Norman dialect of Old French. The earliest form of the French language, 9th to 15th century. The medieval Norman dialect of Old French. The French, Norman, language used in medieval England. Medieval provincial dialects of French formerly spoken in the south of France. Medieval provincial dialects of French formerly spoken in the south of France. Medieval provincial dialects of French spoken in central and northern France. Medieval provincial dialects of French spoken in central and northern France. The French language is spoken in Quebec, Canada. A dialect of French spoken in Belgium and adjacent parts of France. A member of the French-speaking people living in Belgium. A republic in Western Europe, the largest country wholly in Europe. United States botanist and agricultural chemist who developed many uses for peanuts and soybeans and sweet potatoes, 1864 to 1943. Makes decorative wooden panels. Someone who carves the meat. An artist who creates sculptures. An artist who creates sculptures. An artist who creates sculptures. A faint constellation in the southern hemisphere near Phoenix and Cetus. An artist who creates sculptures.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.